Lillian the Waters in the Understanding series. In lesson number 2, Truth Marches On. In the light. Having seen with light and understanding that illustrations and reflections have no substance in them, no action, power, or presence whatsoever, therefore that they are void of harm of any kind, what then is the step beyond? That is, where does such understanding lead? I wonder how many who read these lines have followed through to the next illuminating and tremendous discovery. With one's first perception, he deals with illusions as pictures because it is the simplest and easiest mode of procedure whereby to behold their absolute nothingness. When one sees clearly and for the first time the nothingness of an illusion, both in truth and in falsity, he is set free, at least for the present. If he is not free permanently, it is only that he must open his vision wider and gain fuller understanding. The next step would be to consider that which is responsible for the thing called illusion, even though it is nothing and so can do nothing. The motion picture is most valuable here as a concrete illustration of our own life and its experiences. One can see easily enough that the pictures on a screen have no life in them, no action, really no presence whatsoever, and that the only thing actually before him is the white screen. Penetrating further into the value of things, he may now think, suppose I don't wish these pictures to appear on the screen at all. Suppose I wish to clear the screen of pictures entirely. What then? In this case, he must ask himself, what is putting these pictures on the screen before me? For he knows that they cannot put themselves there. He feels, rightly enough, that if he could get at the thing which is casting the pictures, he would then have things under his control. Is this not so? He soon discovers that back of the pictures are the films. That is, the pictures are in the films before they reach the screen. Let us now turn our attention to ourselves and to our experience to see just how to apply this illustration. Ask yourself, first of all, what does the white screen represent? You see, the pictures, though nothing in or of themselves, are cast upon the screen, so that instead of seeing this before one, he sees the pictures. Now, what does the screen illustrate to you in your own life? Please answer to yourself before reading further. Your answer should be the pure and perfect body, the pure and perfect world. Apparently, one looks out upon the perfect world, and there is no other, and sees instead pictures of war, grief, sorrow, tribulations of every kind. He may look at the perfect body and instead see pictures of age, sickness, or incompleteness of one kind or another. Having discerned the meaning of the white screen to be the perfect body and world, what then is the meaning of the films? You probably have no hesitancy in answering that they illustrate thoughts. Indeed, it is supposed in a very large way today that according to one's thoughts, so are his conditions and affairs. Today, multitudes are busy with mental physics, the changing of thoughts, removing one thought, film, to make use of another. They do not hear the voice of the Christ saying, I shall profess unto them, I never knew you. The practice of thought changing never does or ever can truly satisfy anyone. For a time it may seem to prosper and flourish, but inevitably there comes the time when no manner of thought manipulation will bring success or satisfaction, when all such thinking shall be found futile and of no avail. Then one shall question, what is it that is greater than thought? Turning back to the motion picture illustration, let us see what it is that is greater than the films, which, as it were, stands back of them. Of course, it is the machine or projector which contains the films which are flashed upon the screen. Now then, by what name does one call the machine which creates the thoughts of war, grief, sorrow, sickness, fear, etc., which one may see about him today? He knows at once that it must be mind. Surely there can be no thinking without mind. Therefore, why give attention to thoughts? Why not attend to mind only? Since it is mind which is responsible for all the pictures of trouble and sorrow today. As soon as one sees that illusions, discordant pictures, come from delusions, wrong thinking, and that all such thought must inevitably spring from mind, since mind is all that can think, then he is approaching near to a great discovery. For he says to himself, impure thoughts must necessarily come from impure mind, for surely they cannot come from divine mind. As he begins to trace the wrong thoughts, the impure and false thoughts, back to some mind which would be their source and origin, the very place where they are made, he comes to a sudden halt. He cannot proceed. He cannot carry himself to that place where he can point and say, here, at this place is the evil mind from which all wrong thinking, all delusion and ignorance proceed. No, he cannot do this, for as he leads such thinking back to its source or starting place, which he knows must be mind, he makes the great discovery. He discerns that no mind stands back of them at all. And he exclaims, there is no mind back of them whatsoever. It seems now that he stands alone, yes, in the holy place where all that he can see and take cognizance of is the one great mind which is God, and which is, quote, of purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity. Habakkuk 1:13. One never knows how long he remains in this secret place, but when he walks out again, it is as though his whole vision has changed and cleared. He is free. He has penetrated into reality. He has discovered that God Almighty is the only mind there is, or ever can be. And this mind creates good and good only. Of a certainty, the understanding is now present that there is no human or mortal mind from which wrong thinking proceeds. There are not two gods, neither can there be two minds, one in opposition to the other, one sending out purity and goodness, and the other impurities and imperfections. No, it cannot be. The mind, which has been called the mortal mind or the human mind, which is thought to be responsible for all wrong thinking and also for all the false and discordant pictures in the whole world, does not exist anywhere, either in truth or in falsity, in reality or in unreality. Were this not the fact, there would not be one great good and perfect mind, and one and only creator, one only thinker there is, sending good and nothing else, even as no fountain can yield both salt water and fresh. Discovering through insight and illumination that there is no mind at all from which delusions and illusions can come, he sees that as with the removal of the machine or projector, the films are gone also, as well as all the pictures. So now, in his own experience, lo, as soon as he discovers that there is no mortal, human, or personal mind whatsoever, which can be a source of impure and imperfect thinking and its results, he is in a place of absolute peace and rest, harmony and happiness, for the wrong thoughts and their pictures have vanished. Therefore, you need spend no time with delusions, illusions, fear, wrong thinking, but rather ask yourself, how many gods are there? How many minds? Never has there been a source or creator for evil, thus never has there been evil. Good has always filled the entire universe, since God, good, is all-inclusive, and there is none else. Could the sun send forth darkness as well as light? Or could there be another sun in opposition to the real one? Another sun which produces darkness? We understand the utter impossibility of such an arrangement. Even so, and in the same way, all belief in some big mortal mind or some little individual human minds must be exploded. There can be no other mind or minds in opposition or contradistinction to the one infinite God mind. Consider one mind, and one mind only. Thus delusions and illusions, wrong thinking and discordant picturing cannot exist, nor seem to have existence, any more than a film could be flashed on the moving picture screen if the projector were taken away. Reason all imperfect thinking and imperfect manifestation out of existence. If they have no place in God, why should you allow them place in you? Free yourself through understanding, quote, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. 1 Peter 5:7. You need have no more responsibility to remove falsity of any kind, nor even any responsibility to obtain right thinking and right results. Possessing the mind of God, which is eternal perfection and completeness in every way and thing, surely we can rejoice with great joy. With this mind, without effort, we shall find our happiness to be at hand, our strength, health, harmony, and success. Quote, the Father in me, the one perfect mind, he does the works, thinks the thoughts. Drink thirstily from this fountain whence the healing waters flow. Bathe ye in this effulgent glory, and rest in the sweet and precious understanding that all your efforts to deal with your thoughts are now ended. You are in the light. You see and think with a divine mind, which brings, quote, all things to your remembrance. End of chapter.